Hello. So I'm gonna do something new today. It's January, so why not try something new? And I keep on listening to Gary Vee's book, so I keep on being told that I have to be more spontaneous about the content, and I've been thinking about this for a while. And typically, even when I do podcasts or even the YouTube podcasts, I do tend to script myself because that's how I like to operate. But I thought I would follow some of his instructions, and so I've been thinking about this, kind of sharing a little bit of diary and the life of a CEO kind of thing, or a portfolio life CEO kind of thing. And so here's my day. Here's what I happened today, because actually there's a little bit of a information, because I hosted a vision board workshop today, and the workshop, obviously, I participated because I also did my own vision board, but I also hosted it as a facilitator. And I thought it was interesting to share, because actually you could host it yourself, or you could actually do it at your own pace and in your own home. And so the way I've done it, so I had a group of 6 guests that came over. I didn't know all of them. I knew some were very close friends. And so we got together mid-morning, and as prep, I had given some homework this time. Last year I didn't give any homework, but I did give some homework before, where I asked people to kind of take stock of their year, kind of look back and really, dive into what they felt the year was like, achievements, and what they were wowed about. A little bit like I wrote in my blog about taking stock. And so I also asked them to have a look at a list of 100 words, so they could feel inspired by maybe one of them and have a word of the year. And then what I asked them to bring a couple of magazines, whatever they could be, old magazines, whatever they had in the house, and maybe cancel their appointments for the day, and something to share in a meal, so that we could then have a lunch together. So that's what the prep was. So it's not heavy lifting. I got all the big posters and scissors and glue sticks, and every year I keep on telling myself I just have to buy more scissors, because there's never enough scissors. So next year there will be more scissors. And then I like to start the day with a bit of a meditation. I'm a big believer in meditation, but I'm not a big meditator myself, but I'm trying. And so I like to set the scene, not only because the theme can be inspiring, and today we talked a little bit about not being too attached to our goals and too attached to the outcomes, but also to then also let us settle, right? Because we all come rushing from our week, and today's a Friday, and so we kind of just be in the moment and be there and really get ready. And then I prompted everyone to do a bit of a 5-minute journaling about how, if they could do one thing this year, what that thing would be. And so with that, we started our exploration stage, right? So for the exploration stage, what we did is we just had magazines all over the place. I think I have a picture of it, so I have to share it here. And you just look, right? And you're not trying to overthinking. You're not trying to know why you're choosing what you're choosing. You're just letting yourself be inspired by an image. Does it speak to you? Does it bring you joy? Does it speak to you about peace? Whatever it is, the feeling, you don't even need to know what it is that it brings in you. You just look at it and you try and you say, right, I'm gonna cut this one off, I'm gonna put it in my pile, next one. And you don't overthink it, and you probably spend over an hour doing that. I also had bought some quote cards, had printed all these words of the year, so that people could just cut out the words, and I also had a printer available for anyone that needed to get like extra pictures from their personal pictures, or just from the internet. Say, look, I had Pexels on, so that people could just download a photo, and we printed it off. And it was very flexible to that sense, but it was important to have it as a physical activity. And so we did that, and then I kind of paused for coffee, and that was really the first time some of the people got to know each other and chat for a little bit. As you can imagine, that's when I started running a bit out of time, because that's when people really start chatting. So when I managed to bring everyone back in, then we did the second exploration part, but it was an explore and assemble piece, where you're already starting to collate, you're starting to look at your board, with a collage. You choose a color. I bought a lot of different colors, and then really put it together, and maybe you start seeing themes, and things start emerging, and that's maybe when you say, oh, how could I forget about this? This is not represented in my board. But you still just try and go a little bit with the flow. Maybe look at a couple more magazines if you feel like you need it, and put it together. And to be honest, I think I gave people an hour for that, and I think everyone could have taken an hour and a half or more, and I had to apply some pushing skills to get it finished and done with. And then I did something that, you know, I thought of doing last year, and it worked out really well, and so we did it again today, which was we swap, right? And so we all moved to the right, and we all looked at our partner's board, and the person moving to the right reads it and looks at it for an hour. Sorry, not an hour, a minute, obviously. And so they just, you know, they say what they see, and what's the word that comes to your mind, and how do you feel about it. And it was really interesting because, you know, especially the people that have no idea who the other one is, it actually came through in a very powerful way. And even with people that didn't use words at all, because some people put more words and quotes and some people put more pictures, it really came through, and that's a really special moment. In my normal ideal scenario, I would have broken, you know, do a breakout for lunch and then come back to do self-reflections, because by then we were probably an hour behind schedule. What we did is you adapt, and so in the moment where we got not only our partner reflections, but actually everyone chipped in a little bit and said, oh, I actually see this as well, and why did you put that in? And then so the person then at the end, after practicing some listening, the person then also says, actually, yes, that's right, I'm surprised about what you're saying here, or oh, this is what this one means. And it's a moment to start reflecting of what they've done and what they've put on the board. So that was the kind of collation of all of it. We did have a lunch where I had prepared a few prompts in terms of sharing that were related to kind of looking forward and goals and ambitions people could have. To be very honest with you, I think people were a little bit tired because it's a lot of information when you're putting all this to yourself and trying to consume it and see what it means to you, and then look at other people's boards. So we had a chilled lunch, and then moved on to our last bit about what does it come out to in terms of word of the year, right? And so that was nice, and everyone kind of ended up with one or maybe two words of the year if they hadn't decided yet. And hopefully the vision board translates or helped the process of doing it, actually helped getting there. My word of the year is strength. I actually had it before, but it's a driving force that I want to apply to what's on my vision board. And you know, it now is maybe the first step for other people to then go and set themselves goals and metrics and actions that they're going to take. But it's really helpful as something that you can just let yourself be inspired and let yourself flow, and rather than just write it down immediately, and which goals require you to do, right? Because goals are much more structured and much more in a written form, and which I like to do, but actually I did on the back of my word of the year. I didn't finish them all, so I'm going to finish them all now that I've also seen my boards, because I think it really helps you get there. But the board and the goals are not contradictory, but they're not mutually exclusive, because the board really allows you to express yourself in a different way. And look, there was stuff on the board that I can figure out. I chose a big bunch of flowers, and I love getting flowers, and I never get any flowers, which is fine, not asking for flowers. But, and funny enough, I didn't realize it until later, they were actually flowers of my wedding. And I thought that was interesting because my brain had picked up on that picture, and I hadn't even realized it. So for me, it was about me doing things for myself, and maybe just buying myself flowers, really. And also, you know, that nice memory that was really with me. So I thought I'd share, because, you know, a lot of people like to do vision boards, and people wonder what it is about and what the process would be. And so I thought I'd put it out there so that you know how you could do it, and you could do it with a group of friends, and you could do it on your own. And I hope you had fun. And, you know, at the end of the day, I was pretty exhausted because managing and facilitating is actually that draws a lot of my energy. Also probably because it's been raining all day and it's not the best day today. So I'm looking forward to an easy night sitting in the sofa and maybe even disconnecting my brain a little bit, which doesn't happen very often, and just kind of cuddling with my little one and maybe watching a movie or something. So with that was a day, that was a workshop day, and I will be back soon.